Hiring and keeping the right people is a core ingredient that every service leader has. And I happen to believe that one of the fundamental principles of that is we have to make sure we do not hire employees who hate customers. Unfortunately, in the hiring of place is that most of us hire anybody that's got a pulse, anybody that's a warm body. You're going to find that the service leaders hire 1 out of 50, hire 1 out of 100, but they don't just open it up to everybody. One of the principles I want to focus on a little bit is Jack Welch at General Electric, because I think the foundation that we built at GE was effective. He is probably known over the last 20 years as maybe one of the most powerful, the most effective CEOs in the world. GE is probably the best managed company in the world. And when he was CEO, he said size means lost systems and smugness rather than speed. He said simplicity and self-confidence tear this place apart. Well, I think we need to do that to our own organizations. Jeffrey Imlett, the new CEO, said, I believe we are going through a time of rapid and meaningful changes. My belief has only increased my desire to accelerate change at GE. GE must look different, must act different, be different to excel in the years ahead. This is a guy, probably the most effective CEO in the world, with the best managed company in the world, that says we must act different, look different. GE is the world's most respected company, according to the Financial Times, global most admired company, America's most admired company. Last year, 2004, they had $152.4 billion in revenue. Profit was $16.6 billion. Globalization is their core competence. Jeffrey Imlett said, I spend about a third of my time on people with my partner, Bill Contney, GE's human resource leader. We recruit, we train, we develop. We improve. We think about people constantly. Do you do the same thing in your organization? Welch, in his new book, Winning, said companies are not buildings, machines, or technology. They are people. And Welch said, if you want to get promoted, deliver sensational performance far beyond expectations, and at every opportunity, expand your job beyond its official boundaries. And when he talks about hiring the right people, he also talks about differentiation, which means cultivate the strong and cull the weak. And as many of you who have read Welch's books understand that he takes a look at the top 20%, there's increased compensation, and he looks at the bottom 10%, and those bottom 10% are terminated. He believes you have to differentiate. You have to take the top 20% of your employees and shower them with bonuses and stock options, praise, love, and training. These are the stars, he says, the best, and they should be treated the best. And then the middle 70%, he says, you got to manage differently. They're the majority of your employees. You got to manage, challenge, and risk keeping those people engaged and motivated. You got to move those people with promise around to increase their experience, their knowledge, and their leadership skills. And then it's those bottom 10% that just need to find a different home. See, I believe virtually every organization watching this tape right now has got at least 10% of your workforce that really needs to work more for your competition. I wouldn't be surprised that everyone watching this has got at least 10% of your workforce of people who retired on the job 5 or 10 years ago. Some people actually died on the job 3 or 4 years ago, but you still keep paying them. See, you can't be a service leader if you keep dead people on your payroll. So you got to differentiate. You got to help the bottom 10% go. See, the biggest dirty little secret, as Welch would say in companies, is lack of candor. With candor, he says, everything operates faster and better. It permeates every aspect of a business. It's missing from performance reviews. Welch would say, how many of you have received an honest, straight between the eyes feedback session in the last year where you came out knowing exactly what you have to do to improve and where you stand in the organization? And then the next question, as Welch would say, is how often have you given an honest, candid appraisal to your people? See, I think if we're going to have high-performing employees, if we're going to select the very best and we're going to keep them motivated, you got to train them well and you got to treat them well. The core essence of every single service leader is they're good at being very, very selective in who they hire. And then secondly, at showing to those employees that I care, that I love you. Money is not the ingredient. It's care, it's love, and it's attention. And I tend to think that people leave their jobs first because they haven't been trained to handle the job. They say, look, you got too many nasty people in your company. You got too many nasty customers. I don't like this job. And the second reason people leave is because their supervisor, their boss, has not been trained to motivate, to coach, or nurture. So all of a sudden you got an employee doing a great job, and the supervisor says, it's about time Kathy did that. And Kathy's thinking, hold it a second. Here I am busting my butt, and nobody appreciates what I do. You've got to teach managers how to coach and nurture. I have a belief that really, really smart people tend to keep moving up in the ladder, and the smarter you are, sometimes the less soft skills you have, the less inclined you are to say, Bill, I really appreciate what you're doing. You're awesome. You're one of the very best employees that we have. So in hiring, the asset test, as Welch would say, is integrity, tell the truth, keep their word, intelligence, he believes in intelligence, and have maturity. And he looks for the 4 E's and the 1 P, and it's positive energy. It's energize others. It's edge, the courage to make tough yes or no decisions, and then to execute, the ability to get the job done. And then everything, as he said, would have to be built around passion. See, at GE, they were very careful about who they hired. The service leaders of Southwest Airlines, of JetBlue, and Amazon is extraordinarily careful about the people that they're hiring. Welch would say, hiring for the top, look for authenticity and ability to see around corners and have a strong penchant to surround themselves with better people and smarter than you are, and heavy-duty resilience. One thing he suggests that you should ask in an interview when you're hiring somebody is, why did the candidate leave his previous job and the one before that? Keep digging, and Welch would say, dig deep. You see, I think the only way your organization can hope to compete is to employ high-performance people. Lisa Anderson from Southwest Airlines said, hire for the heart and then teach the task. At Southwest Airlines, in 2002, they received 240,816 resumes, and they conducted 20,859 one-on-one interviews. They hired 4,913 people, which was 2%. Deborah Jacoby said, we want employees, this is from Commerce Bank, who are outgoing and who are not afraid to talk to other people. We want someone who will engage the customer. When Commerce Bank in 2001 opened in downtown Manhattan with its first locations, they had 42 positions to fill. They interviewed 3,400 people to find those 42 people. So I think if we're going to be focusing on hiring the right people, we have to be far more careful than we've ever been before. Keep in mind, somebody is going to get promoted in your organization, and it might as well be you. And if you are the one that is bringing in the very best people, bringing in the cream, the chances for you going to the top are even greater. Thank you.